So that's your choice. So now this is the moment of insight, right? The moment of insight, take massive action. So you can continue to sit on the sidelines and continue feeling the way that you're feeling right now in this moment, or you can make a change. We don't talk about the things that happen here for a very particular purpose. And if anything, there should be some level of curiosity. Like, hey, what happens here, right? What do we do? So use that to fuel your decision at minimum, knowing that it's going to be so much more than that.
So guys, today I am joined with another amazing man from the movement. This guy has been in the movement a couple of years now. I had the pleasure of meeting him and having dinner with him the other evening, and his perspectives, his philosophies, his journey, everything has just been incredible. And for the past 3 days, this amazing man has been pouring his wisdom, his love, his strength, his spirit into the men going through the Alpha Reset as a way of giving back. And quite frankly, I think what I didn't realize is as a way of growing too, because you don't go through one reset when you volunteer. You go through 10, 11, however many men are there. So let's hear from this amazing man. Let's hear about his journey. Let's hear about his experience at the reset. And let's hear all his wisdom. This man is Mr. Justin McAuliffe.
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate those words, and I appreciate you buying dinner the other night. That was lovely. That was great. It was a nice kind of foundation for the days to come. So it's great to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks for trusting me.
No doubt, never a doubt, brother.
Yeah.
Never a doubt. The growth you've had the past 2 years, the journey you've been on, it's incredible. It was one of the things I was thinking recently, a few months ago, as we were going through some of the masterclasses, and just your energy and your presence, and the way you would apply the lessons and the questions you would have, and just everything that goes into the mix of making an amazing guy. You have it, and you had it. And I also remember the time when you didn't. I wouldn't say you didn't. I think it was always there, but I think it's very easy for guys to forget that it's there. And instead of looking inside to find it, they look outside to try and find it. But anyway, point being is, I was very excited to meet you when I knew you were going to be volunteering. We've not been able to meet yet, so I was super excited to meet you. I had a blast with you on the masterclasses. And you were even better than I anticipated.
Wow.
So it's a pleasure.
I will receive that with love and appreciation, because there was a time where I would deflect that, and those days are gone. So just a comment. I mean, I knew you want to hear about the experience, but just to comment on that, like, there was a time where it was all external. I mean, all external. I mean, I'm not going to get into detail on my story, right? But I used to use external sources and substances to fulfill an inner need, regardless of the consequence. And they were tremendous consequences for a long, long time. And, you know, the work we do here, the work on the reset, you know, a lot of that is refinding the version of me that's always existed. It's always been there. And I spent so much time looking outward. Meanwhile, it was inward the whole time. So to your point, right, it's always there. I just had to reclaim it. And it's a beautiful gift. And to be part of this experience for a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 10th time, right? There was a moment, I don't want to give away too much, but there was a moment yesterday during day 2, later in the day. Mark had said something and it just hit me. These men are going through things for the first time. And it's subtle, right? We say 1% better. And it's hard to measure 1% better. And I know there's a lot of smart guys in here, and sometimes you see it in workplace, they're actually calculating 1% better, right? But for me, the bar is always going to get moved, right? 1% better after 100 days. I'm not perfect. It's impossible, right? But I continue to elevate and evolve, and that goalpost always moves in a positive way. And there were things that I haven't thought about in a long time, in a really long time. And the men that went through this amazing process these last 3 days reminded me of that. And it just hit me. And I just had to thank them, like in the moment, like, thank you for going there. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for allowing it to happen. And thank you for stepping to the line, because it has allowed me to grow. And though I knew what was coming, it was like I was experiencing it for the first time. Because even the two, I said it to you in the kitchen before, and I'm not going to say it here, but the two exercises from yesterday, I mean, I have chills now just thinking about it, was so much more powerful for me. And I don't even want to have to think about how it's going to come back into my home, because it doesn't need to. Like, my heart is so full of love. Like, I was texting guys in the movement yesterday, like, man, I just love you. I freaking love you. Like, I texted Franco, like, I just, like, man, I love you. Like, I absolutely love you. And I feel it. And I've been feeling it with my kids. And I mean, I miss them like crazy. I haven't seen them since Tuesday morning. But I know that this was for the men, for TPM, as much as it was for me, and part of your mission, right? 10,000 kids. Like, it just continues to expand, and I'm going to get to be part of that and then help these guys through it too. It's a gift. It's an absolute gift.
Oh, for sure, brother. It is. I love delivering these and being part of them, because you just sharpen the saw.
Mm-hmm.
You see, at least I see myself in every one of the guys' journeys in one way or another. And as I was saying to you earlier, I'll finish up whatever process it may be or whatever day it may be, and I'm getting my journal out and I'm writing down improvements I can make, and I'm texting my mum, my dad, Amelia, people in my life, the guys, whoever it may be. Because you just realize, oh, there's a gap there, there's a leak there, there's an opportunity essentially to have more connection or to just be better and have a better life. So it's a complete gift.
I'm not unique in the area, because we all come here for a reason, right? How to save your marriage without talking about it. And I don't want to say it's a trick, right? But like, it's not about the marriage. I mean, it is, but it's about myself. And that's like the thing that I didn't expect, like going through TAM, right? It's like, oh, okay, how to have sex without talking about it. Like, oh, yes, I want that. But meanwhile, it's like, okay, but this is where you need to go, or you're the end, right? Like, yes, that can happen, but you also need to fulfill that inner need. And how do I do that? It's love, right? You just said it. It's like opening my heart. And for years, I'll keep it in the eye, have put blockers for a variety of reasons, right? Trauma, alcoholism, addiction, pain, whatever it might be. And without retraining my subconscious, it's impossible for me to receive the gifts that are in front of me. Like, life doesn't really change. Like, the same things are going to happen. Obstacles are going to come up, good things, bad things. It's how I respond to them. Even as I'm saying it out loud, like going back home tomorrow, like, those things are going to be different because I have this experience to reflect upon. Because I'm going to remember where these guys were on Wednesday and where I was last April, and everything's okay. Like, what if it were easy, right? What if it was, it's as simple as love? Love is the answer. Like, it sounds cliche, but it's really the answer. Love myself, be open to receiving it, be open to giving it, and then watching the magic happen. Like you said, the master classes, like, that's hard to do in the beginning. That was for me, like, hard to do, like, be open, like, oh, should I say it? And I told these guys, like, when your belly barometer is going off, that's your gut instinct. Say something, right? That's your moment. That's your moment of growth and power. Overcome that and get to give your gift of insight and watch it flourish.
Good point. So the type of people that are going to listen to this, it's going to be one, the men in the movement who are considering volunteering, which I think you're speaking to really well. And then the other guys. So we had a program pre-COVID called the Activation Method for Self, which I think I told you a little bit about, which focuses on self. Activation Method for Relationships focuses on relationships. Now, the Activation Method for Self culminates in the Alpha Reset. COVID obviously hit, so we couldn't do the reset. So we are now, because of the demand that we have for the resets and the constant requests we get from the guys to allow people they know to be able to do a reset without having to join the Brotherhood or the activation method for relationships. We've decided to dust off that program, and we are reopening the doors to that program and essentially giving men a way to be able to go through the activation method for self and get access to a reset without having to be in the Brotherhood and without having to have gone through the activation method for relationships. So those guys are typically guys that are stuck. They feel lost, empty. So there's a void inside of them that they're trying to fill, be it with work, substances, whatever it may be. And no matter what they try, they just can't seem to move forwards. They're spinning their wheels. And they're struggling because they're wanting to pretend to everybody else like they've got it all together, present this facade to the world in front of them. And the more they present the facade, the worse they feel because they know the truth. So what advice would you give to that guy who is considering going through the process and going through a reset?
So I was that guy, of course, right? You know that. I know that. And there was a time where I was seeking therapy and counseling and psychotropic drugs to try to change all those things. So I know what that feels like. This experience, because it is an experience, is strategically designed by you and the rest of the team for a very particular purpose. There is no amount of therapy. There's no amount of psychotropic drugs. There's no amount of talk counseling or even alcohol, whatever, that is going to allow a man to experience what goes on here. Now, what do you have to lose? Listen, I understand the financial aspect to it, right? Obviously, this is not something that is inexpensive. However, I also know somebody that felt the same way. As I've reflected on my journey and, my initial investment in the activation method and onward, well, I spent a lot of money on stupid shit all the time. All the time. That didn't do anything for me.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt this episode, but the reality is if you are watching or listening to this right now, then you are looking to better yourself. And I applaud you. You're one of my people. And I want to give you the opportunity of taking massive action. So if you haven't joined the activation method yet, it's our flagship program. Do what thousands of other businessmen just like you have done and take action. Be one of the 1%ers that actually does the work and takes action. There'll be a link in the description that'll take you right to a page that'll just give you more information. There is no obligation. Just go check it out and see if it's a good fit for you. All right, let's get back to this episode.
And it includes, consumerism, just buying things to make me happy. Like that dopamine hit lasts for a second. So if I add all that up over a period of time, like that's tens of thousands, if not more, dollars that I've essentially wasted, things that are meaningless. So what's my power worth? What's my growth worth? Like I'll spend money on fancy clothes and it makes me feel good on the outside, but what about the inside? How do I go out and get a Gucci jacket to put over my heart? Right? Like, well, this is it. And the advice I would give is staying on the fence is only going to prolong the pain. Nothing changes if nothing changes. What I resist persists. So if I'm resisting because of financial, well, then you're going to continue down the path and you're going to keep buying stupid shit over and over and over again. If I'm resisting because I'm afraid, well, then that's leading into the fear. That's the whole point of this, getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And the longer, I don't regret waiting to go into the Brotherhood because people were telling me, reset for months and months and months before I committed. I just wasn't ready, right? My time was now, and it all happens for a reason. So I don't regret that. However, a man watching this that's on the fence, like now, just do it now. If you're thinking about it, just do it now. At the end of the day, when it is all said and done, I promise you the things that you're worried about right now in this moment as you're listening to me and Tim talk, you're not going to care about. You're just not going to care. It's not going to matter because you're going to say to yourself, why didn't I do this sooner? I would have paid 10x what it cost to feel this way. So that's your choice. So now this is the moment of insight, right? The moment of insight, take massive action. So you can continue to sit on the sidelines and continue feeling the way that you're feeling right now in this moment, or you can make a change. We don't talk about the things that happen here for a very particular purpose. And if anything, there should be some level of curiosity. Like, hey, what happens here? Right? What do we do? So use that to fuel your decision at minimum, knowing that it's going to be so much more than that.
Beautiful. Well said. Can you tell them a little bit about what life is like for you now? That may inspire them as well.
Life hasn't changed, right? Life is still life, right? My kids are going to shit test me. My wife shit tests me, right? I have challenges at work. The difference is that I know I'm not alone, and I know I have a tremendous amount of men that I can reach out to for support. Now, granted, part of my story, I'm an Alcoholics Anonymous, and I've had that for a long, long time, and I'm very grateful for that. And we have some things in common. However, there's a lot of things I don't have in common with them that don't allow me to fully trust them, right? Going through TAM, Brotherhood, Reset, of course, the level of trust that develops from heart to heart, man to man, is just incredible. So what's changed is that I have a tribe, I have a pack of people that I can continuously reach out to just make sure I'm going in the right direction. Because if you're anything like me, I always question myself, right? I used to anyway. Question my decisions, question my choices. And having a guide, dozens and dozens of guides, and then over time, again, that's more 1% better, and I gain more confidence, right? My oracle sense continues to strengthen. So my confidence in me has changed. The love I have for myself has changed. Again, I said it before, like on day 2, the amount of that last exercise that we do, like I was soaking it. I've never felt that in my entire life. Like even on my own experience, just standing there and receiving and receiving. I was like, holy crap, what is this? Like this, and I didn't want it to stop. So what's changed is my ability to receive and my ability to pause, my ability to love. And we talked about it a little bit this morning, right? You were sharing the story of one of the former brothers. And that then just pours into all the other territories: self, health, wealth, relationship, business, right? Rank them how you will. And it has for me. And again, I want to be clear, like shit does hit the fan. I am not perfect. This is the powerful man, not the perfect man. And I've also allowed myself to, to feel grace. Like some of the guys in my pack early on, like it was really hard to just give myself grace. Like I made a little mistake the other day and Mark looked at me. I was like, oh shit. I was like, it's okay. It happens. Like, it's not going to be perfect. But the guy 2 years ago would have beaten myself up over this. So what's changed is that kind of stuff, just the acceptance of life as it comes, the appreciation to surrender to the moments that are just beyond my control, and knowing that I can control the small things, the ARS, the meditations, the cold baths, the walks, whatever it might be, and being okay knowing that I'm surrounded by guys that all take care of themselves. I'll say this one last thing, like even going away for an extra day, like that was like my first reset. That was much, much harder to leave my family for all that. My wife's going to give me a hard time. She wanted me to go. There was even a part of me, and Franco kind of coached me through it too. Like I wasn't going to go because I have a lot of trips coming up, but she was still encouraging me to go. It's like, take care of myself, right? That's why self is one of the most important ones. And I think you asked that question on a workplace at some point, and I think I did answer it, because the self is for me, the most important, because then all the other ones fall into place, right? Because in the past it was either business or wealth, and then wealth led to jealousy because I didn't have what the other guy have. No, I have all the wealth I need because I have time, I have energy, and I have love.
Beautiful. Wow. You can see why they call you the Oracle.
And that's something I still step into. Like one of the guys just was asking me about it the other day. And the experience too, and I'll just say this, like I put a little pressure on myself coming in this week because I didn't want to fail the guys. Like these are the things that come up. They're bullshit stories I tell myself. And I imagine even someone like you, right? Even someone like Doug, like these things still come up. But I just don't allow it to rule me. All right, it's a second, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. All right, just sit with it and just let it go. And then, in the beginning, I was like putting a little pressure. And then there was just a moment like, you know what, just surrender. You're here. Everything's going to work out exactly the way it's supposed to. And, it came up a lot these last few days. So it's really cool. It's really cool.
So, guys, you've heard it from the man himself, the Oracle, Mr. Justin McAuliffe. An amazing man. And I think his advice about getting off the fence is very wise. I mean, where in your life are you sitting on the fence? Not committing to either side, but instead playing safe, playing not to lose, and staying stuck on the fence. If you're on the fence, get off it. Life is too short. You weren't put on this planet to be average. You were put on this planet to experience greatness. So, guys, we'll see you next time on The Powerful Man Show.